Well, my friends, the joy has left the building officially. Miss Kamala Harris lost the popular vote, lost the electoral college, and she did not outperform Biden in a single county from 2020. There is not enough aspirin in all of Washington, D.C. to nurse the hangover Kamala Harris probably has right now. She still has not conceded the election. Now, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. I just wanted to get some thoughts out this morning, and I'll be making a lot more videos over the next few days as we process everything. But the first thing I want to say is this. The Democrat Party did this to themselves. On my page, like I always say, I welcome folks on the left, the right, the middle, all across the political spectrum. It's come one, come all to the Halloween ball. I am not denigrating anybody who voted for Kamala Harris. I would never denigrate the American people. Who I am denigrating is the Democratic elite. In the last month alone, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the mainstream media, they've called Donald Trump supporters garbage. They've called him Hitler. But guess what? He's doing better than he ever has before with Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Arab Americans. The list goes on. As I've said for about 18 months, all of these Democrat strategists in New York and Washington, D.C., they are so out of touch with everyday Americans, the forgotten men and women of this country who feel left behind by the Hollywood and political elite. That's why Donald Trump went and worked at McDonald's. That's why we saw Donald Trump in a garbage truck. He gave voice to people who feel left behind by the swamp in the system. Now, someone else the news isn't talking about right now is Mr. Jazz Hands Tim Walz. Kamala Harris, this is to you right now. Sweetheart, come close. Why would you choose Tim Walz as VP from Minnesota when you need to win Pennsylvania? Kamala was operating from a place of ego when she did not choose Josh Shapiro to be her running mate. She was also capitulating to the pro-Palestine wing of her party. In the next order of business, if Kamala Harris is losing with men, if men are fleeing the Democrat Party in droves, you don't need Katy Perry, Oprah, Beyonce, Lady Gaga to come out and be your surrogates in the last stretch of the campaign. Now, I'm about to go watch The View this morning because the dopamine and serotonin I'm going to get from the meltdown is going to carry me through the rest of the week. But I have to say this. When Kamala Harris went on The View, they asked her, would you change anything from the last 4 years? She said, no, nothing really comes to mind. That is when her campaign ended. Now, I'm not in Mensa, but I do have a brain between my ears, and I can look at the data to see that an overwhelming majority of Americans say the country is on the wrong track. So when you say you wouldn't change anything from the last 4 years, you're not looking like the change agent. Donald Trump is. And Kamala Harris, when you wake up this afternoon to give your concession speech, you can make fun of Donald Trump, you can be mad at him, his supporters, but you have to look in the mirror and take responsibility and culpability for your loss. You lost the presidency to a man who held a press conference in a garbage truck. Let that sink in. I thought I was done with the video, but I'm a little fired up. Kamala, you oversaw the worst immigration crisis in American history. You went 1,191 days without visiting the border when a majority of Americans say they want a strong border. Look at the data. Politics is not rocket science. If there's one thing I've learned in the last 18 months working on a campaign, covering the election, it's this. All you have to do is identify the top concerns Americans have and lay out a policy in a way you're going to help them. If I looked at a sheet of paper and it said that 6 out of 10 Americans supported mass deportations and a very strict border, I would go and do something about it. If an overwhelming majority of Americans say they're tired of inflation and the economy being in the gutter, I would go and do something about it. If a majority of Americans say they're tired of the war in Ukraine and these wars all around the world, I would do something about it. You've been running around the country saying, when I get into office on day one, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Why haven't you done it in the last 4 years? You and Joe Biden had a majority. You could have gotten some things done for the American people. Instead, we feel worse off than we did when you took office. All right, my friends, thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me what you're thinking this morning. How do you feel about Kamala Harris, the campaign she ran? How do you feel about Donald Trump being the comeback kid? No matter how you feel, that man made a comeback nobody expected in American history. I will see you on the next one. Bye.